Hello, everybody. How are we doing? And welcome to the second part of the Retroslice Best PS1 Game Ever discussion. Last week we went through 21 of the 43 games that were suggested by the Retroslice community. Took us about 2 hours to get through those. We have 22 left to go. So we're going to crack through those and decide what we think our top PS1 game is, as nominated, and voted for by the community. Joining me tonight, we have a slightly smaller crowd than last week. We have Retroslice UK.
Oh, sorry. Hi. Yeah, I am here.
Yeah, that was your cue. And Retro.
That was scary.
And Retro Gaming.
Hello, guys.
How are we all?
Yes, very good, thank you.
Good,
Hope you had a good week.
Yeah, not too
Yeah,
bad. I guess everybody else is partying. It's a Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
Keen to see how this ends up as regards the ranking.
I would have, surprised, I thought we're all of us into our retro games. We're all probably a little older and maybe not quite the partying crowd, but clearly I'm wrong. It's just us diehards that are here this evening. So before we get started, I have two little bits of housekeeping that I want to go through. The first is a correction. Last week I said that Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare was the only Alone in the Dark game I could find that was released on PS1.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So that was raised on the chat itself, where we weren't actually sure. So I was wrong. There were two Alone in the Dark games released on PS1. The first one being Alone in the Dark 2, which was renamed for it was Alone in the Dark: Jack is Back, or Alone in the Dark: One-Eyed Jack's Revenge in the US was released on PS1. Alone in the Dark 3 was not. And the next one was Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare.
Yeah.
So that is just a little correction there that I thought I should address before we moved on. The second thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that the S tier is becoming a little bit bloated.
I was thinking that.
It's becoming a little bit too big. So I have a suggestion for a new rule. We should try for a top 25 games, which will encompass S and A tier only.
So only 25 can be within those two?
Yes. What I'm suggesting, though, is that S tier cannot get any bigger than 12 games. So
how many's in there now?
12 games.
Okay.
So
Can we? Okay.
my suggestion is 12 games for S tier, 13 games for A tier. That takes us to 25. If we come to a game that we think is an S tier game, we have to decide, we have to be very careful where we want to put it, because it means sacrificing the lowest ranked S tier game to the top of A tier.
Got it. Okay.
Do we think
Can
that's
we
fair?
do this? Yeah. Can we do this at the end?
What do you mean?
As we go.
Let's say we end this, and S tier has 30 games. Okay. So in the end, we have 30 S games. So let's remove 10.
I would say it's probably easier to do it as we go.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem.
So the next game that we've got coming up is Oddworld: Abe's Odyssey. If we decide if we think that's an S tier game, and we decide that it's better than, say, Final Fantasy VIII, that bumps Gran Turismo down to A tier. If we get to the point where we have more A tier games than 13, Buster Groove, unfortunately, being at the bottom at the moment, would bump down to B tier.
Yeah,
Mm,
I
mm.
I think that's a good way to do it. So you're talking with S tier and A tier, right?
Yes.
Mm,
And B and C tier could be as big as we like.
yeah,
No limits. What do we think? We can keep going as it is for now, and just leave it the way that we've got it set up.
No, I'm not sure I understand quite well, but okay, let's go. And I mean, if we decide a game is an S, then we do the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, if we decide to do it's an S, we need to put Gran Turismo and A. Let's go on the go. That's
All right.
fine.
So we shall get started then with Oddworld: Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
do we think?
I'm gonna let you two say on this one first, because yeah, I've probably got a little bit to say on this one. So after you.
I think Abe's Odyssey is a good game. I think it's not an S tier game.
No, that I do agree with. That I do agree with.
Well, sorry, Retro Nuts. Was that on your top list?
Yeah. Why? What's wrong with that? Abe's cool, man.
Oh, it's funny.
I realise that he's not going to be in everybody's top list. So, it may have been a slightly sentimental vote.
I don't think it is a sentimental vote at all. I think it is it's a very good game.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure it's quite S tier. It's definitely influential. Obviously, it spawned the entire Oddworld series of games. One of my favourite games of all time is in the Oddworld series. It's just unfortunately not one of the Abe's games.
Okay.
I think this is Lemning's talking here, right? You play too much Lemmings.
Too much,
there.
yeah. It is very.
Lemmings
It is very
Lemmings
Lemmings.
is amazing.
No,
Lemmings is
no one is disputing Lemmings being amazing. It's just not a PS1 game, so it's not on this list.
It is on PS1, isn't it, Lemmings?
Well, no one nominated it, so it's not on this list.
Okay, fine. Everyone needs Lemmings, whatever system you have. I'm just shouting this out to everybody. Whatever system you have, you can play Lemmings.
Don't spread this, man. Don't.
You have to contact me, retronuts.co.uk.
Okay, I got a lot to say to this game as well. I have plenty of memories, and I play most on PC, not PS1. I love it, but it can be so frustrating.
Oh yeah, it's a very frustrating game.
I can't put as S. So sorry.
I can
It could be
put
A. It could be I'm okay with A.
Okay, I'm also okay with A.
Fine. I quite like Abe, but it's like, to me, that was my sort of top 5 PlayStation,
Yeah.
But I think it's such a good platformer. I really do. I really like it. I like the graphic style.
Oh,
I like the scenery and sort of the setup, the story behind it.
Absolutely.
And it does have its annoying bits. You die often. There's no doubt on that. But it's a game that on many systems I've always, if I've seen it cheap or I thought, there's an opportunity to pick it up or play it, I'll definitely play it.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, the world building is second to none. It's the atmosphere, the character design is all very original. How many other games just let you fart at a press of a button? I can't think of many.
Exactly.
But I have to agree with Retroider that it's just a little bit too frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. Mainly when jumping and trying to survive. But
Yeah,
so that means we lose an A tier one?
no, we don't, because we haven't hit the
Oh right,
we haven't got to 13 yet.
Got it.
So once we get to 13 A tier games, then we'd lose one. So
I would put after Colin McRae.
See, I would put it before Grand Theft Auto.
You see, although I voted for it, I did vote for Grand Theft Auto as well, don't forget. But I think I was actually thinking either after Grand Theft Auto or after Colin McRae. So as a midway ground, I'd settle for after Grand Theft Auto. That's fair.
Okay.
No, that is fair. That is fair, because it's smack bang in the middle of before GTA and after Colin McRae. So
okay,
I think that is fair. That's where that goes.
I didn't play Colin McRae on PS1. So in practice, I agree.
That's nice.
Okay, the next one I think is going to be fairly easy. It's Pac-Man. I wasn't going to say it. Pac-Man World.
A.
Yeah, I really need to buy this game. I love the artwork. I found out now it's all yellow. It's great. I think I'm gonna buy it because I'm trying to buy the director's cut Biohazard. I can't get that cheap. I'm probably gonna try it. So yeah, I love this game. I played. It's not as important as an S game should be. So but you have a lot of fun. It's really for everyone. I think Pac-Man fans, right? If Chris is a Pac-Man fan and he enjoys it, so I think it's a game for everyone. For platformers, kids, adults, Pac-Man lovers. I think it's a good A. Yeah.
Well, to correct myself, when I say A, I mean top tier. I think it should be in the top, in the S.
You think it should be an S tier?
Man.
Okay.
Come on. We've been good with you. Okay, we accept A, but come on, don't push it.
So,
no, you're saying it's better than Red Alert? Are you saying that?
It's more fun than Red Alert. Red Alert is to me, it's just like a different type of thing, isn't it? This is Pac-Man. Don't forget that.
Right.
He's the most legendary icon ever.
You just run back and forth, getting balls, and Red Alert is a strategy game. You really think you have cutscenes, and you're saying it's better.
But there's no Pac-Man.
So I've not played this.
You can't compare them. It's not possible.
You're right. You can't compare them. They're two completely different games, and one of them has Hell March, and the other one does not. And the one that has Hell March becomes.
But if we're putting on the same tier, eventually we need to do some comparison. Some kind of comparison, not game mechanics.
What's the Metacritic score for Pac? I'm curious.
So it doesn't have a Metacritic score.
No,
but it does have a game ranking score.
You don't want to go there, mate.
The game ranking.
We regret it.
The game ranking score. The game ranking score is 81%.
Oh.
Which would only just scrape into A tier if we are going by the same rules as last week of S tier being 90 plus, A tier being 80 plus, and so on and so forth. Now,
okay,
I'm not saying it doesn't belong in A tier, because I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it does look like a fun 3D platformer.
It is great.
Yeah, so for me, I'm just gonna be honest. Overall, I think it would be like top B, but for me, I think it's very fun. I would put after Colin McRae. I'm a Colin McRae.
I don't have
Uh,
a horse in this race because I've not played it, so it's going to be between you two.
I could live with that.
After Colin
I
McRae.
know. Yeah, I know I can't win with the S tier stuff, so.
All right. Because, I mean, it's a 3D platformer, and that, to me, automatically makes it better than Colin McRae Rally.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think McRae, I didn't play, but I understand it's an important game, And Pac-Man World really,
I mean,
I don't
wow.
think.
No, you say that. Pac-Man World has just had a remake. Has Colin McRae had a remake?
Nope.
Yeah, but I mean, influential stuff.
I need to play that game as well, PS5.
So, after Colin McRae or before Colin McRae?
I leave that to you, Chris, because you are the Pac-Man and Abe. So you decide. I leave to you.
If you're offering me before, I'm not going to turn that down.
No, you decided, man.
Before Colin McRae, then.
Before Colin McRae. There it is.
Um,
Cool. Alright, another one I've not played, and I probably should have. Parappa the Rapper.
Straight to
Never
S.
played it.
Let's move on.
Straight to S.
Yeah, we need to balance here. I think it's a really important game. You talk about remakes. This one already had a remake about if I'm not mistaken, or remaster or something. As a rhythm game, original game, it's really authentic. It really, of course, for people who knows, but immediately you think Parappa the Rapper for PS1, just pretty much like Crash.
Oh yeah, it's
not as known as Crash, of course, but
it's still iconic though.
Yeah, and as a unique rhythm game, there is no game like Parappa. And once you discover, usually rhythm games, you follow what the screen says, the inputs the screen says to you to input, right? But this one, for master this game, you really need to rap. I mean, you really need to mix the inputs. Then you get the highest score, and the game just changes. So it's really fun. There's a story. It's cute. I would put A overall, and I'm happy to put it on. Well, personally, I would put after Red Alert, but I'm happy putting after. If Pac-Man got that higher, Parappa should be, for me, before Pac-Man, but I'm happy to put it after, no problem, because I love Pac-Man too. And Chris, you owe me one.
Thank you. I mean, for me, I can't really comment. Now, I know of the game. I recognise the cover 100%. Apart from
You
that,
should. You should. Everyone should play this. It's so much fun. It's hilarious.
it would be a new experience for me. That's for sure. It does look, from what I've seen, it looks different. Let's say that.
Yeah, when you made a mistake as well, it's fun, and the rap changes, the music, the lyrics. It's really fun game. Yeah.
So
After Pac-Man, I'm happy with after Pac-Man.
alright, this might change your opinion. I've looked up the score, the Metacritic score.
Oh.
Pac-Man had 81. Parappa the Rapper has 92.
That tells you something.
It does tell you something. 92 would put it squarely in the S tier if we were going by score alone.
Yeah,
Mm.
I would say overall, over gaming overall, maybe not S, but PS1. Just like I said, I
So,
know. I said straight S. Not. No, I was not joking.
so
But yeah.
if we want to put it in S tier, that's fine. But we have to ask the question: is it better than Gran Turismo?
For me, no. No, overall, no. Personally, I played more Parappa the Rapper than Gran Turismo, but we have to make some balance here. I don't think we need to go too much, in extreme, not overall, not
So,
scores stuff. I mean, not
yeah,
personal as well. So
if,
yeah, we
if we are to follow the new rules of only 12 in S tier, and it is not better than Gran Turismo, it goes straight to the head of A tier.
I'll be very much happy for this if you guys are okay. But just as I said, I'm okay being after Pac-Man, no problem.
I don't honestly think, but this is the problem. I don't know the game that much, so I feel as if I'm giving it a harsh review without
Yeah.
actually
So,
sitting down and playing it. But based on what I know, and based on what I've seen, I don't think it should be top 8 here. Sorry, I think I leave it. I can return the favour maybe. If you think it should go ahead of Pac-Man, then I'll take your word for it. For me, if you're relying on my vote, I think after Pac-Man. But again, I do feel I'm not giving it a fair
I
review on that.
love everyone's honest here. I love it.
so I've not played it. Like I say, I'm looking at it purely from the numbers, and the numbers say it's better than Pac-Man.
I suppose we
Yeah,
have seen.
I'm really, I'm constantly going back about the thing about being a PS1, right? Gran Turismo. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto. It's fantastic, but we are talking about PS1 Grand Theft Auto, and I played PC, right? So I mean, Parappa the Rapper, fantastic. For PS1, it's even more important, right? So it
I
deserves.
think I agree
I
with
mean,
that.
Red Alert. It's a great game, fantastic inflation stuff, whatever scores. But for a PS1, right? Maybe if we put Parappa the Rapper before, I mean, Red Alert after Parappa the Rapper, right? So Parappa the Rapper before Red Alert for a PS1 game, it makes sense, right? Red Alert overall as a game, not PS1 game, it's more important than Parappa, of course. But as a PS1, maybe not. That would make sense for me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, when you think of iconic PS1 games, you don't necessarily think of Red Alert, even though it's a classic.
Yeah.
But you might think of Parappa the Rapper because it was PS1 exclusive at the time.
Yeah.
It was very popular. It's got very very high critic and user scores.
And I can confirm that.
Sorry,
You're saying before Pac-Man, right?
I'm saying before Red Alert.
So be honest with me.
I'm saying before Red Alert.
Chris. Let's focus on PS1 here, right? PS1, not the
Yeah.
game itself. We need to remind ourselves constantly. We are doing a PS1, not no best game of all time.
Yeah. No, on a serious note, I think that you have to bear in mind the score, right?
Yeah.
And like you just said, I haven't played the game, but I do know the cover. You know, I do recognize the image most definitely. So that says something, I suppose. So as much as it wouldn't be my personal decision, and I am only joking, but as much as it wouldn't be my personal decision, then yeah, you know, based on the info, it has to go before Pac-Man, right? And that's coming from a Pac-Man fan.
Yeah.
Hello.
But we're not questioning at the moment whether it comes before Pac-Man. We're questioning whether it comes before Red Alert.
No,
For
I don't think,
PS1, yes.
I don't
For
think so.
PS1.
I don't think so, but that's just me. I could live with it before Pac-Man. If you are saying before Red Alert or after Red Alert, then I'm going to leave that decision between you two. So, you would have the majority there.
This is a tough one. Because like I say, I've not played it. I can't really comment. I'm literally just going off of its reputation.
And that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
just like I said, as a game, I think everyone agrees Red Alert is a superior game. As a PS1 game,
Well, if
is superior.
we're saying Red Alert is the superior game, then
Overall,
it
yes.
has to go
of
after.
course.
It has to go after.
I personally think its ideal place is going to have to be for me before Pac-Man. I can live with that, but to say it's better than Abe and Grand Theft Auto and Red Alert, I
Okay,
don't know.
let's move on. Just put Rapper, before Pac-Man, and we're good.
Okay,
That's fine.
we'll put it there.
Now
Yeah.
the interesting part.
Now the interesting part. We're going to talk about all three of these at once because
Okay.
I don't think all three of these they are like so. That Resident Evil, full disclosure, is my favorite game series of all time.
Nice.
Discounting the slightly low quality games that came after 4 and before 7. So I would put all of these in S tier, but I don't think they should all go in S tier. I think we should have one of them in S tier, and that one is Resident Evil 2.
Yeah. Sure.
And I would personally, and this is going to be controversial, I think Resident Evil 2 is a better game than Metal Gear Solid.
Oh,
It is my favorite game of all time. And
let's go by score. Go by score.
Let's not do that because I've already looked up these scores. It will lose.
Oh,
it will lose. So right, the scores for Resident Evil.
You've done your homework, right?
Yeah.
You've done your homework.
So the scores, so Metacritic has this completely the opposite way around to the way I would do it. Resident Evil, the first one, has a 91. Resident Evil 2 has 89, and Resident Evil 3 has another 91. See, I don't think Resident Evil. The first Resident Evil is, as we spoke about last week about Alone in the Dark, being like one of the forebears of the survival horror genre of games. Resident Evil, the first one, was really what thrust it into the spotlight. Right, that was the most influential, but it's not the best in the series. Resident Evil 2 does so much more than Resident Evil 1 does. It's a better game. Resident Evil 3 is great. I think Resident Evil. So for my order would be 2, 3, 1.
Correct.
And I would.
I'm sorry. You said Resident Evil 2 has 89?
Yes.
Score?
Yes.
Isn't that lower than Metal Gear?
Oh, massively. But the score should be the last thing we consider.
No, I must go with the score. Sorry. I vote go for the score.
Am I the only one that's played Resident Evil 2 here?
No, I played a lot, man.
So, but you think if we go by the score, it goes in A tier?
Oh, okay. I understand. The way you said, I thought Resident Evil 2 had a better score than Metal Gear.
No, Metal Gear has like a 90 something, 90 plus something. Let me just have a quick look. Metal Gear Solid reception. Metal Gear Solid has a Metacritic score of 94.
Okay, I'm gonna be straight honest as well. Personally, let me say personally first. I would put after Metal Gear because Final Fantasy, I didn't live the hype. But I would honestly, on the balance here, I would put after Final Fantasy 7. I would put after. I think it makes sense to put after Final Fantasy. I don't think Resident Evil 2 maybe more popular than Metal Gear. Probably.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's more popular than Metal Gear.
Okay, so I think it makes sense for me to put after Final Fantasy 7, and personally, I would put after Metal Gear because I played this a lot more and enjoyed a lot more than Final Fantasy. But that's my, Brazil English barrier stuff. So I'm kind of alone here.
Right. Do you mean between Metal Gear and Final Fantasy, or between Final Fantasy and Castlevania?
Between Final Fantasy and Castlevania.
Okay.
If we are gonna, no, personally, I would. I'm sorry. The balance, right? Personally, I will put Metal Gear and then Resident Evil. But if we make a balance here between scores and stuff, meaning importance stuff, I would put so first Metal Gear, Final Fantasy, and then Resident Evil 2. I think it's a more important game than Castlevania. Yeah, Castlevania is really great, perfect game, whatever. I didn't play, but I know the importance today. But I would put, the balance. I would put Metal Gear, Final Fantasy, then Resident Evil 2.
Okay. Chris, what do you think?
Here we go. So, I've played very little Resident Evil games. I don't believe I've played any on the PS1. The main one I played was on Dreamcast, so you'll know which one that was. And I have.
I think they all got a release on Dreamcast except for Resident Evil 1. So 2 and 3 both came out on Dreamcast as well as Code Veronica.
Yes.
So it could be any of those. But I'm assuming you're talking about Code Veronica.
Indeed. And I have played, I think, a remake that was on the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
I've played that.
Yeah.
So it's not really a game genre that I've explored quite a bit. I like it. I like watching it. It's one of those games for me, Resident Evil. I like watching people play it more than I like playing it myself. Yeah. It's always been that type of game, weirdly, for me. It's a game I certainly want to explore more. I did quite enjoy Code Veronica when I had a Dreamcast, but I found it hard. I do find it a hard game. Based on what I know, I would put it. I don't know Final Fantasy, right? I admitted that last time. I've not played any Final Fantasy games.
But you've also not played Metal Gear Solid, so.
Yeah, I'm just going to go and hide in the corner. Just bear with me a second. But the hype behind Resident Evil, I know more of. Do you know what I mean? And I know it's such a popular game. So to an extent, I'm going to have to leave its position to you. I believe it's definitely top tier. It's definitely in the S tier. But as regards where to place it, I'm struggling as the same as you are. Definitely minimum after Final Fantasy. Definitely. I think that could be the way to go and the way to settle it.
I'm curious about you, Chris. Final Fantasy or Resident Evil 2?
Me?
Oh. No, Dan.
Yeah, which Chris? There's two of us.
I'm happy to say Chris Dan if you're okay with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, so I replay Resident Evil 2 more than I replay Final Fantasy 7. But I replay Resident Evil 2 more than I replay Metal Gear Solid as well.
And that's the thing, you're asking me
No,
more. Which
so you're saying personally, right?
Yes.
So, but
Yes.
you feel you're gonna balance, between importance and stuff, and
I mean,
what would you say?
Final Fantasy VII is the more influential of the two. I don't think that can be disputed. I'm not happy about it,
I don't think I am,
but I will accept third place after Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
What place would you put it?
Personally, I would, if on balance, I would put it in between Metal Gear and Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because I really didn't play Final Fantasy back in the day. I don't have memories. I don't have nostalgia. I play on the PSP. On the PSP, I love it. It's really great. But just like I said before, I didn't live it through it. I mean, Resident Evil 1. I found it funny. People feel scared about games and stuff. I don't really feel scared about games at all. I mean, it's really, really, really hard to be scared. I mean, as a kid, I really was not scared about games and stuff. I don't know how people got scared, but Resident Evil 1, that very first scene that the zombie, takes a look behind,
Yeah.
that, I really got scared. It's probably it's only the game, the probably the single game I got really terrified. Maybe there's more, but not as much as I felt terrified by that cutscene. And no, and what I'm trying to say, I leave the days that really scared stuff. And Resident Evil 2, I got a lot of jump scares.
Yeah,
playing back in the day with the dogs and the windows and the that enemy. Just like a spider with the long tongue and stuff. When you face it, right, he's in the ceiling.
Yeah.
I lived through the fear. I lived through the terror. I lived through the horror, right? That was so. I would be I would be happy seeing Resident Evil 2 as a second place. Very happy.
Okay. I think I'm happy with second place.
Sure.
Me too.
All right, Resident Evil 2 takes second, which means Gran Turismo gets bumped to the head of A.
No problem for me.
Now we just have to decide about Resident Evil 1 and 3. Now I think these are solid A tier games. I think they are
top tier, man.
I think they are high A tier games.
Top tier for me. Resident Evil 1.
I would put these higher than the Gran Turismo games personally, but that's my personal opinion.
I will put Resident Evil 3 after Gran Turismo.
Resident Evil 3.
Resident Evil 1 after. And Resident Evil 1 top tier. No discussion.
Okay. Where?
Can you explain it, Ryder?
Sorry?
Can you explain the reasoning on that?
Isn't that obvious?
I'm just curious. Like I said, I don't think I've played those versions on PS1. I may have played it at some point on something, but certainly a game that I didn't own myself and, complete. So I'm just curious and by instant, just no hesitation, like straight boom, S tier. Just curious.
No. I'm sorry. I said Resident Evil 1 top A tier.
Right, straight to the head of A tier.
A tier.
Right.
Yeah.
So like that, like that.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah, I thought I misunderstood. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
I think I agree with that. Okay.
I thought you meant yes.
So.
What's next? Hey!
Ridge Racer and Ridge Racer Type 4.
Yes.
Now.
Oh my god. Another Chris game.
One of these belongs in S tier. The
It does.
other one belongs in A tier.
Correct. Brilliant. Let's move on. No problem. No hesitation. I'm happy with that.
Ridge Racer Type.
No.
Which one, by the way?
I can't. No, I can't accept that.
Ryder,
Sorry.
we're losing your connection there, buddy. Sorry. Can't really hear you.
So for me, because I am much more of an arcade racer person, I prefer these to the Gran Turismo games.
Yes.
And Ridge Racer Type 4 is one of the best arcade racing games of all time.
Thank you. Good night.
I really think we can do this, because if we put Ridge Racer Type 4, we're gonna remove Gran Turismo 2 as S tier. Is that what we are doing here?
Are you basically saying that nothing else can go into S tier now?
No.
Oh no, if that's okay, that's fine for me. Yeah, because the guy is saying S, right? I understood Type 4 would be an S game.
So Ridge Racer Type 4.
S.
Ooh. Metacritic disagrees.
We don't.
I don't think anyone would be happy seeing Gran Turismo not S. I mean, if you don't consider Gran Turismo an S PS1 game, we're really doing something wrong here.
I mean, I get what you're saying. But
I could put Crash Team Racing and Crash 1 as a A, but I'm gonna be really uncomfortable not having at least one Gran Turismo and S tier. I think we own, Sony, like we own something. Come on, Gran Turismo is PS1 trademark. We need at least a Gran Turismo and S, guys.
But we knew the risks when we agreed to anything new in S tier bumps games down to A tier.
Mm-hmm.
I really can't put, Gran Turismo and S and not Crash and.
I do get what you're saying. And this is kind of the issue we're facing now. But like Chris said, we said any game that crops up and we argue with, we've got to hash out, right? And this is what we're doing. So to me, it's a very hard one, because I do see Ryder's point. Gran Turismo is a great game. Certainly I'm thinking it's S tier, but Ridge Racer Type 4, the graphics on that game and the improvement, you know what I mean? I had such a buzz with that game, and every single time I picked up a PlayStation, one of the first games I've gone out and bought is Ridge Racer Type 4. And Ridge Racer, absolute classic. You even get an arcade shoot-up before it. Do you know what I mean? What more do you want?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I played. I own it. Ridge Racer. I play that a lot, and it's really fun. Really, really, really fun. I gotta be honest here. S tier, Metal Gear, Resident Evil 2, Final Fantasy, and Castlevania. We really can't touch those one. Really can't touch. I would not agree if we move them, right? Soul River and Fourth. All games starting from Soul River to Gran Turismo 2, I'm okay to downgrade them to A. So we do not remove Gran Turismo 2.
So I'm not happy with just arbitrarily overriding what we discussed last week, because not everyone who from last week is here this week.
But we did. But with Gran Turismo, we already did this, right? We did.
We did. I'm going to suggest a compromise.
Okay.
Instead of limiting S tier to 12, where we were at, we limit it to 15. which gives us room to add 3 more games to S tier without touching Gran Turismo 2.
Yeah.
But
Mm,
if we get to that 3 and decide there's another one, because there's some big hitters coming.
there is.
It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, because while we've bumped games from S tier to A tier, what we haven't done is changed the order.
Yeah. And B and C tier is like just non-existent, right?
Which I half expected B and C tier to be quite sparse.
Yeah.
I would move Bust the Groove and Mega Man easily on B, and I could put any game from Soul River to A, to Gran Turismo 2 to A, happily do it. But Gran Turismo 2, I think it deserves an S, 1 or 2.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm not, like I say, I'm not happy changing the order of the games unless it's to add a new game in.
So
But obviously, when we add a new game in, you're still saying the last one gets bumped down, right?
Yes, but we're still not changing the
Mm.
order. We're just changing the tier. So if hypothetically we bumped Gran Turismo down, it still goes before.
okay,
It still goes
got it.
before Resident Evil.
Right. Okay.
I got it now. I understood.
Um,
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
so I think
So
I
what we
still
saying? Top A?
no. I think so. I'm suggesting an amendment to the rules that we started. I think we should keep the top 25 to S and A tier, but that means limiting A tier to 10 games.
So
Yeah,
one needs to
that's
go.
why I suggested doing this at the end. I think it will more be easier. Because I think we're gonna hit a lot of walls here,
I think you're
until
right.
we are over.
I think you're right. We could just abandon the rule altogether.
Yeah, because we set up a limit and we reach the limit, and we set up a limit and we reach the limit again, and we're gonna discuss and we're gonna
gonna
hit the
keep
limit again.
So
if we abandon the rule, what we're just going to bump stuff down from any section?
no, we're not going to bump anything down at all. Resident Evil and Gran Turismo go back up to S tier because we've decided that Resident Evil is higher than Gran Turismo. So that if we are moving Gran Turismo back up to S tier, then Resident Evil has to go up with it to go between Gran Turismo 2 and Gran Turismo. And Resident Evil 3 becomes the top A tier position.
I really think the way it is now is completely perfect, right? I think the discussion now is Ridge Racer. Let's decide on Ridge Racer, and then we can change, the thing. Okay, so how are we gonna put? Let's do the easy, right? Ridge Racer 1.
A tier.
Where we're gonna put A tier? Okay, it's the first game, PS1 #1 game in Japan. I have it. I didn't play it back in the day. It's really important on arcades, as just I believe in the same year as Daytona, right? An arcade,
Yeah,
or maybe
so.
the same, a period as Daytona. So it's really the same importance. As a PS1 game, it's very #1. Yeah, just as I said, in Japan. It's a really important game. But I think it's really outdated as well. I mean, it's not aged. It's I mean, you still can have fun, right? But it's really outdated by Ridge Race Type 4, right? We all agree it's an S game, Type 4, right?
Yes, yeah.
So should we put Ridge Racer where we should put an A, but on which
I would say Ridge Racer.
position?
The first Ridge Racer, absolutely no higher than before Red Alert.
Oh,
Okay.
you see, that was right bang where I was. I'm looking right at it, and you said it.
I
would
really
s-
didn't think
We
about
are
it.
definitely on the same Ridge Racer. We are definitely on the same Ridge Racer page. Definitely.
Yeah, I think
I
between
think
Resident Evil 3 and Red Alert is perfect for the first Ridge Racer game.
okay. Think you can put
Totally.
it now. Okay. Let's do the easy part first. Okay. That's it. Now the complicated part. Type 4. Type 4 is an S game, and we have the other rules. So how we're gonna do it?
I'm not. I do see your point. I'm not 100% comfortable on Gran Turismo being an A tier. To me, there would be another game that would be more suitable for A tier.
I agree
That's
there. I don't think Gran Turismo belongs in A tier, which is why I'm considering scrapping the rule about bumping games down.
I would put. I'm just gonna be honest. I would put Type 4 after Resident Evil 1 on A tier. But if you guys insist on S, then you guys have to have just to fix this. It's up to you guys. Because for me, I love the game. It's 2 discs, right, or 3. Uh, I love the game. But I would put after Resident Evil, honestly. So if you guys decide it's an S game, then you guys have to fix this. I'm leaving it you guys to resolve this.
It's more which I do think it should be an S game. I'm afraid. I'm not afraid. I think it definitely should be an S game. But what to replace it with is more they're all good.
Yeah.
That one before the first Crash game that's in S tier. What's the game before that? I can't really zoom in as much.
So we've got S tier currently is Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 2, Final Fantasy 7, Castlevania, Soul Reaver, Colony Wars, Crash 2, Crash 3, Crash Team Racing, Final Fantasy 8, Crash 1, Gran Turismo 2.
I honestly think it's more fun to mix it all up. I understand and I respect we have other people that are not here, right? But as you said, Chris, you give 1 week ahead, notice. People had the opportunity, and maybe I'm not sure if we said this, but I mean, if it was me that was I mean, let's just say Leon goes and watch this and say, oh, but we decide my game that we decided is S is now A. But okay, but you didn't join the second part, right? I mean, I understand you don't want to, move all the games we decided because we don't have the other people, all that. But I think they really need to understand it, right? If we move it, I mean, right, we have to do this. So I'm really okay. I mean, I really just saying. I'm just being honest here. Maybe Crash 1, Final Fantasy 8, and Crash Team Race could be easily A for me. And then we put Ridge Racer on S.
Ridge Racer left
on S.
No, we put Type 4 on S, and we could remove one game from the S. And I could easily remove Crash 1. I could easily remove Final Fantasy 8, and I could easily remove Crash Team Racing, which I love
Okay,
for
okay.
that.
So
All right.
And I'm sorry for the people who were before here, but you're not here now, and we are doing this. Okay, so
I get
I
what
will
you're saying.
respect
I
if
get
you
what
don't
you're
want to
saying.
mix. Yeah, I will respect if you don't want to mix with this, but I'm really truly okay with that. I don't
Yeah,
see.
yeah. That's that. I mean, I see where you're coming from because there are games currently in S tier that I personally would not agree with, but
Well,
I
the whole
don't.
point of it was to debate it, right? That was
Yeah,
the whole point for us to debate the final
yeah,
game. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and
Ryder
if you,
put it a bit more bluntly. Ryder put it a bit more bluntly than me, but we're the ones here debating it, right?
We are. But I think once a game has its position, the only thing that should change that position is whether a game is better than it.
yeah,
Mm.
And
if you see, yeah, okay, go ahead.
when I say when I say a game, I mean any of the upcoming games. Should
Yeah,
be.
sure.
So
Okay.
I don't necessarily agree with we decided Crash Team Racing was between Crash 3 and Final Fantasy 8. And I think that's where it should stay unless something is better than it, in which case it would slot in between Crash 3 and Crash Team
Yeah,
Racing, for example.
and that's up to us, right? That's up to the people who are participating, right? Sorry, we need to
What
be honest here.
what I'm going to say, I'm going to make an executive decision, given that I'm the host and my party and I'll cry if I want to. And all of that jazz and all of that jazz. I am removing the limit on S tier games.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, the question is, do we revert Gran Turismo 1 back to S tier because that's where it started? If we are
No.
abandoning that rule, then we should abandon it and reverse any changes that.
No. For me, no.
Mhm. No, I don't think so.
Just as I said, I'm completely fine the way it is, even with the Ridge Racer now. And also, one thing I was gonna say: if you see some videos of people doing this, they mix everything up. Okay, usually they do alone, right? But they're constantly changing. They do an S, and then okay, maybe they remove. They are in the middle of the video or the end of the video. It just changed, they completely change it, and that's fine, right? If we decide it, of course, it's fine. We can do it, right? So I would put Type 4 as S, and you
Yeah.
guys really decided on it. That's fine.
Hmm.
Okay. Do we think it's better than Gran Turismo 2?
Yeah, personally.
Personally, yeah, me too.
I would say
I had more fun.
I would say yes. I had more fun. I would also say it's better than Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot 1, definitely.
I can get on board with that.
Now, now is where I start to question whether it is better than Final Fantasy 8.
For me,
comment.
yes.
Is it better than Crash Team Racing?
For me, no.
Mm. I can't comment on Final Fantasy, but Crash Team Racing probably no, I would say.
All right, then it goes squarely between Crash Team Racing and Final Fantasy 8.
That's completely fine. Yeah.
Cool.
There we go.
All right.
That looks good.
Now, here's a controversial statement. Now we are onto the sole entry from the best 3D platforming series on the PS1, Spyro 2. I never got on with Crash, not really, but the Spyro games, I loved.
For me, it was opposite.
Now, I need to put an addendum on this nomination, because I mentioned again last week that somebody nominated a trilogy of games as a single nomination, and that trilogy was Spyro.
Okay.
But because there was already a nomination for Spyro 2, I counted that nomination, the nomination for the trilogy, as an additional nomination for Spyro 2.
Right.
Because you can't nominate a trilogy of games as one game. That's just not fair. So that has 2 nominations. None of the Crash games have 2 nominations.
Really?
Yeah. Each of the Crash games were nominated once.
No way.
You're really trying to sell Spyro here, right?
I mean, I don't feel like I need to sell Spyro. Like, Insomniac games, at their outset, they made their name with the Spyro trilogy. They went on to do Jak and Daxter. Not Jak and Daxter, sorry, that was Naughty Dog. Ratchet and Clank. They went on to do. What else did Insomniac? What did Insomniac do on the PS3? It was mostly just Ratchet and Clank, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't remember anything else.
And then they have a Game of the Year contender that has just come out with Marvel Spider-Man 2. They did the Spider-Man games on PS4 and PS5.
Oh, okay.
Now that shouldn't influence where Spyro 2 goes. I'm just saying, without the Spyro games, you would not have had all that followed.
So where are you thinking, Chris?
After Final Fantasy 7.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh my word. That's not what I was. I don't want to reveal what I was thinking now.
That escalated quickly.
I don't want to tell you what I was thinking now.
I mean, no, it's all up for debate. What were you thinking?
Well, the problem is I've never really played a lot of Spyro. That's the problem. I have watched people play it. The ones I have played, and I got that one recently on PS2, didn't I? I haven't really delved into it much. It didn't instantly grip me. So I like the graphic style. I like the gameplay style.
So what you did there is you made the mistake of jumping to the PS2 Spyro games, which were by a different developer and are widely regarded to be ranging from not as good as the original trilogy to utterly rubbish, and you should avoid them.
Maybe I got the avoid one. I don't know. I did find the controls annoying, to be honest.
Yeah,
I found the controls annoying.
So the control scheme for the original Spyro games is not. It hasn't aged brilliantly. You control the camera movement, left and right panning of the camera using the L2 and R2, for example.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. The way they did it in the Spyro Reignited trilogy, the remake for last gen consoles, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, that fixed all of the sort of the usability issues that just came with them being 20-year-old games. And if anyone was to play the Spyro games now, the original Spyro 3, the 3 Spyro games, that is where I would point them towards, the remake.
The remakes on the PS3?
PS4.
PS4, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a Switch, though I don't have a PS4.
It's on Switch. It's on Switch as well. And it's also also backwards compatible on PlayStation 5. So
I'm just going to ask that.
This is just me advertising the Spyro games to everybody now. Go play the Spyro games.
Yeah, just the thing. I'm not with Spyro. It's like a certain game I'll look at and I like the look of it, and I'll watch people play it, and I'll watch some streams, and I'll think, yeah, that looks okay. I want to try that. And that's why I bought that Spyro. Okay, like what you're saying from that probably sounds like probably the wrong choice to buy as a first Spyro. So, but I'm certainly not going to not play it, or I'm going to go back to it, and maybe I should look at some of the other ones. I do think he's a cute character. I think he's a cute character.
So that's the thing. The Spyro games are much more, shall we say, family friendly than the Crash Bandicoot games are. The Crash Bandicoot games are much, much more challenging than Spyro is.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a kids game than Crash is. And I'm not saying Crash isn't a family friendly game. I'm just saying that, Spyro is possibly just that little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
I still think it's better than Crash.
I
Crash,
kindly, yeah.
for me, like Spyro, I think is more akin to. I'm not saying it's better than or equal to in terms of quality, but Super Mario 64, right? And the reason I say that is because Crash's levels, even the 3D levels, are fairly linear, right? You've got you're fairly linear. You start and you they play almost like one of those endless runner games that you've got on mobile. Like, if you ever played Temple Run or something like that, you run forwards to reach the goal. And there's the 2D platforming levels, which are usually climb to the top of something. Spyro is much more of a 3D platformer. It's open world areas. I mean, you've still got levels that are contained. They're all quite small, but they're all 3D environments to explore. And they're all individual worlds. They've all got their own personalities and atmosphere, and the levels themselves are can be considered. Well, they've got a lot of character, is what I'm trying to say. The levels, and it's quite comedic. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I think obviously it came out later than the Crash games. I think the first Spyro game was 1998. It came out, and it had a demo hidden away. One of them had a demo for Crash 3 on it. It might have been Spyro 3 had a demo for Crash 3, and Crash 3 had a demo for Spyro 3. I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
But I think in terms of the evolution of platform games from 2D to 3D, the Crash games sit more firmly towards the 2D end, even though they were in 3D. But the Spyro games are more 3D platformers. They feel more like the games that followed, like Ratchet and Clank, like Jak and Daxter, although that was Naughty Dog. Things like that. I could talk about Spyro games for a very long time, and I probably have. So I will go as low as After Soul Reaver. But
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Will not accept after any of the Crash games. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm happy to go after Castlevania. I really can, especially I understand Spyro, but Spyro 2 before Castlevania, it's really no brainer to me. So, I mean, not acceptable. So I'm happy with Spyro after Castlevania because Soul Reaver it's really not a game for everyone due to the difficulty. Colony Wars I didn't play, and I understand Spyro as being charismatic and a better game overall technically than Crash. I didn't play that much. If you're happy, I would be happy to put after Castlevania. Before, I really can't see
I mean,
go higher than Castlevania. Sorry.
I initially suggested After Soul Reaver, but if you're asking me if I'd be happy to put it higher, then I absolutely would. So
We really need to be happy here, everyone. We really need to help each other here. So that's me doing here. That's what I'm doing here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm happy after Castlevania.
After
If Chris
Castlevania.
has no issue. Yeah. So it's after Castlevania. Yeah. Right. That's it. I'm happy with this. No problem.
Unless Chris has any objections.
No, I don't. I don't have objections. I'm just looking at it there now. I definitely. This is the problem for me. I definitely played Crash more. I definitely played Ridge Racer more. I definitely played Gran Turismo more. I didn't play the Spyros, but I appreciated what you were saying from the developer aspect. You know what I mean? It sounds like they're the better games to play on that system, the PS1, and obviously it led to other, let's face it, legends. So yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm 100% on it, but I can live with it.
Yeah, can we? One thing I was going to say: can we say the scores from compare scores between Crash 2 and Spyro 2?
Yeah, let's do that. Actually,
We can. So
Just for curiosity, but I'm happy with this. I'm truly happy.
Spyro 2. Ripto's Rage in the US and Gateway to Glimmer in PAL regions has a score, a game ranking score of 87%.
I think Crash
disagree.
3 is higher, right?
Yes.
I think Crash 3 is higher than Crash 2.
Yes, Crash 3 is, let me see, I've got that written down. Crash 3 is 91.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, Spyro is, for me, is like Crash and like Parappa. Just the same importance. I mean, if we do a balance here, Crash has that's the thing. Parappa is unique on his way, music game, rhythm game. Crash and Spyro both consider platforms, but they're truly kind of opposite games, right? On their style, on their gameplay, right? Graphics, we could like compare stuff because PS1, but that's the thing, having so much platforms on PS1 and uniques, and how Spyro is loved, right? And I think Spyro is really a cult game. It has a really cult following, right? So it deserves the spot. I respect that, and if Chris is happy, I'm happy too, right? But you know, a really
it does have a
higher
high
than
score.
Castlevania is just pushing too much. Sorry. I'm happy with this. If you guys are happy, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's fair.
puts it top 5 for the moment, so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Now, we come to a series that I have very, very little experience with. Street Fighter.
I have. I played that.
So we've got, and I need to look up the names of these because you can't really tell easily from the box art. We have Street Fighter Alpha 3 and Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha. Now,
I've only played the first one.
Well, this is where my Street Fighter knowledge is going to show me up entirely, because those sound like the same game to me.
Isn't
No,
one an
not at all.
extended? One's an extended version of the other one. Now it's got more characters and everything, hasn't it?
No. No.
Yeah.
I'm really a fighting game here, so expert. Sorry, guys.
And I thought
Yeah,
I
actually,
was till I met you.
yeah, I usually back in the day when I was a kid, I was leaning towards, I look forward to play only fighting games. So I play a bunch. I know a bunch of fighting games, right? I play those two a lot, a lot. Street Fighter Alpha 3 is like the top of Street Fighter Alpha games. Considered to be, the ultimate Alpha series, right? Characters, technical stuff, gameplay, holsters, whatever. X Plus Alpha. It's a 3D game, completely different, right? Really not successful. Really, that shadow, Street Fighter shadow that every franchise have. So,
Are these your
uh,
votes then?
nope, no. They're definitely not. But I would say, as an uh, enthusiastic fighting gamer, uh, I would put Street Fighter Alpha 3 as a game can be an S. PS1 version
This,
probably A,
this
but
I agree. This I agree with.
yeah, probably A or top B, maybe bottom A. Because Street Fighter Alpha 3, it's really good on arcades, but I think the popularity on consoles may be higher. But X Plus Alpha is really could be like bottom B or top C.
Well,
Yeah,
I've not played either of these, so I'm going to have to rely on your input.
I've only played the first one. I just had a quick look at the second one there because I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was just like an extended version of the first one, like they've obviously done with some other Street Fighters. But I would tend to agree, to be honest. I would tend to agree.
yeah. Can we check on the score, please?
Yes, we can. So I have one of them written down. Street Fighter Alpha 3 has a score of 93.
Yeah,
There we go. There we go.
yeah.
Street Fighter
It is a good one.
EX Plus Alpha has... Oh, let me... Wikipedia.
60, between
I'm
60 and 70.
I'm thinking 70 something.
Maybe 60.
Reception.
Yeah.
86.
86? Wow.
86.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it's not a bad game, but yeah. I would put top B, X Plus Alpha, and bottom S, Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Bottom S.
Yes, because you guys didn't play, and if we have to take in consider the scores, right? And I really don't think it's more important because for PS1 game, right? We need to remind ourselves of the PS1. Street Fighter Alpha 3 is just like I said, for Alpha series is the top. But I really can't put higher than any games that are last tier. So we go for the score.
Okay. So, do we agree with that?
Where's the other one going? I agree with that, but where's the other one going?
Top B.
Alpha
Okay.
3, bottom S, and X
Yeah.
Plus Alpha, top B.
Yep.
Okay.
Are we okay with that, yeah?
Yeah, good.
Cool. From one fighting game series to the next. Tekken.
Yep. I got them all.
Tekken, Tekken 2, and Tekken 3. Now, I played Tekken 2.
They are legendary.
They are. I played Tekken 2. Not a huge amount, but I played it. I played Tekken 3. Again, not a huge amount, but I played it. Didn't play the first Tekken. I will admit I am much more of a Soul Calibur fan when it comes to Namco's beat 'em ups.
Yes.
But that's an entirely different platform. So, well, no, Soul Edge and Soul Blade did get a release on PS1, but no one nominated that, so we don't get to discuss it. For me, Tekken 2 and 3 are... Well, I never played Tekken 1, but people don't talk about Tekken 1 the same way they talk about Tekken 2 and 3.
Correct.
So, for that reason, I would put them above Tekken 1.
Correct.
The question is where?
Let's go with the easy. Let's start with Tekken 1. It's easier.
What are we saying? I don't think Tekken 1 is an S tier game.
Tekken
No,
1 would be bottom A.
Bottom A after Buster Groove.
Or what's the score for Tekken 1? We're not don't want to do injustice here with Tekken. Please.
I am looking it up. Self-titled first entry. Tekken. Ooh. Very, very high. So it doesn't have a game ranking score or a Metacritic score. Computer and Video Games gave it 97. Edge gave it 9 out of 10. Famitsu, 38 out of 40. IGN, however, gave it 7.5 out of 10.
There's not an overall score,
no,
right?
No, there's not an overall, aggregated score.
So you guys didn't play Tekken 1, right?
No.
No.
Well, I think it deserves, for the importance, higher than Street Fighter X Plus Alpha. Since we didn't play, no one here. I played very briefly. I have now, but I would put bottom A for respect.
Okay. Well, you're the only one that
If
played
you guys
it.
are fine.
You're the only one that played it, so that's where it goes. Bottom A.
It's great. Bottom A is fine.
Not my favorite Tekken game, to be honest. So, kind of want to leave the Tekken to somebody who has knowledge on it, or the meta scores.
Yeah. Tekken 2. Anyone has some saying on where you should go?
Definitely.
I think it's easier.
It's Tekken 2 is better than Tekken 1.
Agreed.
So I don't know.
I mean, Tekken 2 should be S or A.
I'm leaning towards high A for 2 and S for 3.
Yeah, I do quite like Tekken 2, though. That's the thing. It's not bad. Like you say, I agree with Soul Calibur, but as regards PS, I do think it was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Tekken 2 is really the cult following. It's really loved by people who played back in the day. I think it's one of the first games I bought for PS1, I believe in 98, and I just fell in love instantly. And there's a cult following for this, and I think as a PS1 port and a PS1 game, it should be higher than Street Fighter Alpha 3.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, only just though, I think. I like Street Fighter.
I would.
You guys don't agree with that?
No, I think I'm okay with that.
I do.
I mean, overall, I did a post on Tekken 2 and I got many people. This is the best game,
So
if we not bother with putting another one in S for now, if that's okay, I consider more important the Alpha 3 as a PS1 game.
Yeah,
I think I agree. I am leaning towards in between Gran Turismo 2 and Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Yeah, I think that's fair, to be honest. I think that's fair.
There it goes. Now,
Now, yeah. Now we need to discuss Tekken 3. Yeah.
Tekken 3.
Yeah, that's the hard one.
So I
Maybe
agree when you say like Tekken 2 is the more iconic. You know, people talk about that a lot more. Okay, right. I'm not gonna bring that up just yet. How do we feel about Tekken 3? Higher than Tekken 2?
you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna like it. What I'm gonna say.
What are you gonna say? Because are you gonna say top spot?
I gonna say after Castlevania. Easily. Tekken 3 not being on top 5 PS1 is really not acceptable.
See, I'm gonna
PS1 version.
I'm gonna disagree. No, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but because I always preferred 3D platformers games to fighting games, so I don't hold Tekken 3 in as high regard, even though I recognize that it is, like, as far as PS1 fighting games go, it is the best of the best. You're gonna have trouble convincing me that fighting games overall, as a genre that I'm not particularly invested in,
Can I convince you? Can I convince you with the scores for Tekken 3?
No,
because that's gonna be.
You can't convince me with the scores because this is purely subjective. I've looked at the score. I don't disagree with the score.
Yeah.
But purely from a subjective basis, I will always choose Spyro 2 over Tekken 3 because I prefer that kind of game.
What do you say? Nuts UK.
For me, fighting games before Spyro, but that's purely because I've not given Spyro the opportunity. So I feel harsh on the little guy now. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. Tekken 2 was the one I played the most. Yeah, Tekken 2 was definitely the one I played the most. I think I owned it at some point. I only seen Tekken 3 being played, when I went to friends' houses and stuff. But I did enjoy it. It was a good title. We definitely gotten the order right, but I don't think I can place it too high, to be honest. Let me just have a look. I would be comfortable, to be honest with you, I would be comfortable for after Tekken 2.
After Tekken 2? No, I think it's
definitely not.
So that is something that me and Retroslice will agree on. It should be higher than Tekken 2.
So where are you thinking? You're thinking sort of Spyro?
I'm thinking after Spyro, between Spyro and Soul Calibur.
And Soul Reaver, yeah.
Yeah, Soul Reaver, sorry, not Soul Calibur. You got fighting games on the mind. Yeah, so between Spyro and Soul Calibur. So I said it again. And
Soul Reaver. Yeah, you know how important Tekken 3 is, right? Okay, I'll give this to you, man. You can put, I don't agree, but I'm okay. Just let's put after Spyro. That's okay for you, and that's okay.
I don't have the experience to answer on it, so I'm relying on you. Yeah, I'm relying more on you two playing that title more, and the Metacritic score and where
see. You so the Metacritic score, for reference, is 96. It is incredibly high.
What can I say?
It is higher than every other game that we have so far.
What can I say? Clearly, and this is the point, clearly you can't be personally objective, I'm saying I've not played it, so I can't score it high. That's not what it's all about.
That's not true. That's not true. So there's one other game that has a matching Metacritic score, and that is Gran Turismo. It has a 96.
So,
There is one game upcoming that has a higher Metacritic score.
higher than 96.
Higher than 96.
Oh.
And we'll get to it soon enough. Purely,
I think
I'm
going to hazard a guess. You know?
I'm not happy about this, but I can't ignore the 96.
Yeah.
We really should.
Thank you.
We really should just be using the scores as a if we can't decide, not as a. It's going there.
Are you sure, Chris?
No,
are you sure? I
no,
don't want to.
No, but on a personal level, it doesn't feel right. But objectively, I have to concede.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if you see any PS1 best games, history of PS1, I mean, Tekken 3 is a really, next level thing.
Yeah,
it's known
always
as the best,
always up at the top of the lists. You're right.
Best graphics, 100% PS1 hardware there, efficiency, it's fluid, it's perfect. This Tekken 3 is perfect. It has a lot of extras, a lot of characters, cutscenes. It's a perfect game. It's perfect.
It's not, because it scored 96. If it was perfect, it would have gotten 100.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a fighting game fan, enthusiastic. So for any fighter, fighting game fan, it's perfect. So I thank you for that, because really, it deserves top 5. It deserves it.
Well, like I say, there's one game upcoming that has a higher score than any of the other games. So we'll see.
No problem.
Next up, Tenchu Stealth Assassins.
Played that a lot.
I did not. Oh no, that's not true. I did. I played it around a friend's house. I did not like it. I did not get on with the stealth, basically, which is it's in the name. It's a stealth game. I should have expected it, but like a game like Metal Gear Solid, I got on with the stealth in that. But Tenchu, I just bounced straight off of it.
Hideo Kojima was smart there, because by the perspective, right? So Tenchu is not a greater game because of the the view distance, right? I mean, PS1 couldn't handle all the environment Tenchu was developed, right? Design. The PS1 couldn't handle, so they shadow it, the game. I'm not sure if Chris that's played, but it's just like having a shadow, in the middle of your vision. So I mean, your vision is very limited because of PS1 hardware. Couldn't handle it. So I mean, that's why Tenchu was not a greater game that it was, but it's incredible stealth. It really needs you patience. It's just like Monster Hunter, any other games. You really need strategy, really much try and error, right?
So has it been released on any other consoles, or ever had like a remake? Or
I think it came out on Dreamcast as well.
Tenchu, Tenchu. I remember Tenchu 1 and 2 for PS1, and probably more on PS2.
Yeah,
that's what I remember. For Dreamcast, I don't think there was.
No, it wasn't.
No,
you're right. So Tenchu 1 and 2 came out on PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Then the next few were on PS2. There was one on Xbox, PSP.
Yeah.
There was a DS game, a 360 game, and a Wii game.
And the DS game, I remember, it's really top down, just like Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Tenshu was only really conceivable, remember, I forgot the word now, but it was really, they really delivered on the PS2 because they had more power to handle, the environment, right? But PS1, if you see some videos, you really see a shadow there. So it was really, the game was limited because of PS1 capability to handle a full environment that they designed. So for technical limitations, I would put an A, but where I think after Pac-Man World for me.
Funny that. I was thinking exactly the same.
Yeah.
From what you've said, it sounds fair. I can't comment because I've literally never played it, never heard of it.
I think
that's because of the technical limitations, because it should be a greater game.
Actually, I think I have heard of it, but just never seen it like being played.
I love stealth games as well, so that's there. There's that.
Wow, we're getting down to the final few here.
Yeah, we've got 7 left. Legend of Dragoon.
Need to look out for. Need to take a look on this one.
Yes, I have not.
Think I played.
I have not played it.
Legend of Dragoon.
Dragoon.
Surely an RPG, right?
It is an RPG. It is a role-playing game developed by Sony Japan. If none of us have played it,
seems cool. Yeah, I didn't play it.
All right, I didn't play it.
Yeah.
If none of us have played it, we have to go off of the score, the Metacritic score.
Yeah, sure.
That is 74. That puts it in B.
B.
B. Now, whether we think we can't really comment, because we'd have to look up the scores for Alone in the Dark.
I would put higher, so before Namco Museum, because Namco Museum is just a catalog of games, so I can't really work on this one. I really can't give it a for this game. So for the benefit of the doubt, maybe higher than Alone in the Dark. I'm not sure I played Alone in the Dark, but I'm more.
So Alone in the Dark.
I'm more like.
Yeah. I would put it higher than Alone in the Dark purely because that has the. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a. It has a higher rating actually. So Alone in the Dark: New Nightmare has a 77, and Legend of Dragoon has 74. So if we're going off of scores alone, it goes between Alone in the Dark and Namco Museum.
Yes, I think that's more. That's suited. Yeah.
We think that's good?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where that lives. Right. Time Crisis.
Brilliant. Fantastic game.
It is. But
so much fun.
It is. It's a great game. I love it. I don't think it's an S tier game, though.
No, I agree. I do agree. It's not S tier, but it's the amount of fun I've had with that game, and sort of like, different rounds with friends and stuff. It's a great game. Fantastic. And of course, I should really start getting back onto this because, having that again on a PS1 with a gun, I've got 2 CRTs that I could easily link it up to.
Yeah. PS1 light gun will not work on a LCD screen on a modern television. So.
No. Yeah. I mean, I've got the little port. I've got the 20-inch CRT I could link it up to probably.
So. Yeah. This one as an arcade game, fantastic, right?
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Pedal and stuff. The cover system is great, right?
Yeah.
PS1, of course, it's a port.
Yeah.
But you couldn't play this game on Saturn. There was no. I think this was not released on Saturn. It was not released on the Dreamcast. No, not the
No.
first one.
No, I don't think any
At
of the Time
least.
Crisis games were released outside of the PlayStation consoles.
Yeah. So it's really important for a light gun game. I think it's the next step on the light gun games with the coverage systems. Really fun, really unique. I play it at the back in the day. I rented the pistol and the paddle. I'm a huge fan of Virtua Cop, and I think it's the next step from Virtua Cop, definitely, and House of the Dead, of course. As a PS1 game, yeah, it deserves an A, right?
Oh,
Let's be honest.
absolutely, it deserves an A. It's just whether
Definitely.
it deserves where it belongs in that.
Yeah. That's the thing, if you don't, of course, own who owns Time Crisis Arcade, right? Back in the day.
Yeah.
The only way you could play this is on the PS1. So it's a really important game for PS1, right?
Yeah. I'm really thinking about picking a PS1 up now and getting Time Crisis with a gun. Seriously.
I mean, you should pick up the PS1 because there is a whole host of games that we've spoken about across the last 2 weeks that you just have not played.
True.
So I hope you have some money to spare because you need to play.
Yeah,
you need to
have to be cool.
play some Metal Gear Solid and some Resident Evil 2 and some Final Fantasy 7 and Soul Reaver and many of these other games that you just haven't touched.
And this is the thing, they're still within the realms of a few, obviously outside of this, but they're all still relatively reasonably priced games, and you can pick up a decent PS1 for. I mean, I don't know about over there, Ryder, but over here you can pick up, one that's cosmetically looking good and, seems to be working okay from what the seller says for probably 25, 30 quid just for the console.
Because there were so many sold. Let me have a look on eBay right now.
Yeah. I mean, I bet you 20, 25 quid. And obviously if you're getting one with games and sort of a power lead, but I mean, I've got 5 power leads here, and I've got 3 PlayStation connectors, so I don't need the leads.
So you can get let's filter this to buy it now, because that's the easiest way to.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for the complete package. I got the one from the package from Japan, and I just need the gun and the paddle now. It has a lot of third party because Namco released this. I forgot the name of the gun. GunCon.
The G-Con 45 for the PS1.
Yeah, the originally GunCon. I think the Namco released the gun with the game bundle, but they didn't release the paddle.
No,
the paddle is pretty third party. You really need to rely on third party to get a paddle.
Yeah, because
it's not officially. Yeah,
the gun had buttons on the side that replicated the pedal action.
Yeah,
at least the European one did.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm not sure why, but you really need to look for third parties to get the paddle there. And I was talking about the paddle. I was talking about the third party, the paddle one, right? Not sure why Namco went for that, but it's really great with a paddle. You really need to buy a good one because probably it's gonna be broke or too many uses and stuff, and really need to try to look for a mint condition there. That's what I'm going to try to do as well.
Yeah. Where to put it though? That is the question, isn't it?
So we spoke about how it's important and that the only way to play it outside of the arcade was on PS1.
True.
The same could be said for Ridge Racer.
So
not
literally brought the arcade home.
Yeah, but really Namco not releasing officially paddle for it. One really drags me down there.
Yeah, you
So-
do lose something from not having the pedal.
Yeah, Namco just decided don't go for that, so I'm not sure it's cost or something.
So I am
Uh,
currently leaning for smack in the middle of A tier, which is between Abe's Odyssey and Parappa the Rapper.
if that's okay, putting after Parappa, I'm fine with after Parappa.
I think before. I would me personally, because I just love that game, but we've got to be realistic. You know, we can say it's already had influence, we know that, but
Don't make me ask for the score, man. Don't force me.
It's got to have
You
such
know
a
I'm
high
gonna win.
score, hasn't it?
If I ask for the score, I'm gonna win, man. I'm telling you.
What
Don't push me.
over
Have you
Parappa the Rapper?
Right.
Yeah.
You're not. I've already
Have you
looked it
done
up. I've already looked it up. You're not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Parappa the Rapper scored in the 90s.
No way.
Time Crisis scores in the mid 80s.
Sorry,
Wow,
man.
that's crazy, though. Time Crisis is such a good game.
But you didn't play Parappa, but come on.
Yeah, true. So what, after Parappa? What's your thoughts on this, Chris?
I think before Parappa.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. All right, no problem. I love Time Crisis. I played. Just like I said, I rented. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, experience, right? The experience was more impact, of course.
I'd probably put it before Abe, but hey, just I had so much fun with that game.
If we are talking purely about the arcade version, I would agree.
Yeah.
But I think the arcade version, you've got the feedback of the slide on the gun. You've got two players. You've got the pedal. It's not quite the same experience. I think it lost something.
And if you talk about the regional, right?
Yeah.
The gun come without pedal. It's really a downgrade version. Basically, a downgrade version from arcade. If we consider that.
Yeah, I mean the game itself isn't, but it's because you don't have that arcade setting, you don't have the arcade hardware, is what would drag it down for me. The game is you like plays almost exactly the same. It's literally just about the experience for me.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. The experience. So that's fair for me. But you guys know Parappa is higher.
I will have to check it out. I'm definitely going to check that game out. I mean, I've known about it for so long, and I've never even played it.
I'm sure you're gonna laugh, man. I'm definitely you guys are gonna have a laugh. It's really fun. Yeah.
Okay, the final 5 games. Next up, Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider 2.
Yeah, I don't have much nicer things to say about Tomb Raider. I'll let you guys talk first.
You don't have nice things to say?
So
really?
I can see why, right? If you played Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider 2 recently, they have not aged well.
That is true.
But at the time, they were practically revolutionary. They were huge. Lara Croft as a character was massive.
Yeah,
still is, right?
She's an iconic video game character. One of the most iconic video game characters of all time.
Very true.
However, mechanically, if we're looking at Tomb Raider now, mechanically it is janky and frustrating.
Yeah.
But frustrating first. Definitely.
So
Not only junky, it's more frustrating.
So
than
I'm gonna suggest Tomb Raider 2 because I think Tomb Raider. I think everyone would largely agree that Tomb Raider 2 is better than Tomb Raider 1.
Yeah.
Croft man. How do you say
Yeah, Croft Manor.
Manor?
Massive.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
I would put higher than 1 because
Yeah.
of Manor.
Yeah.
You know the classic. You know, put the old guy there in the fridge.
Yes. Yes. Everybody put the butler in the fridge.
Butler, yeah.
So, Tomb Raider. I mean, all right. Tomb Raider 1 came out on the Saturn. I think it came out on the Saturn before it came out on the PlayStation, but only
correct.
but only just. But it is one of the iconic PlayStation franchises. Like
Yes.
if you think of PS1, one of these games. If you ask people to list PS1 games, this will come up fairly soon in that list. You won't be waiting long for Tomb Raider to come up.
And on the PC as well.
Yes.
You know, Tomb Raider is iconic on the PS1, on Saturn, and the PC. You know, no question asked there.
So, for that reason, I think one of these games deserves to be an S tier. And that is Tomb Raider 2.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair.
I think Tomb Raider 1, while it was the Pathfinder game, it was the Trailblazer, it's not quite as good as Tomb Raider 2. So I would put that in A tier. No, absolutely no higher than in between Resident Evil 3 and Ridge Racer.
No higher than Ridge Racer.
No higher than in between Resident Evil 3 and Ridge Racer.
Tomb Raider 1, right?
Yes.
I'm fine.
I am open. I am open to putting it lower, but I would not say higher than that.
No, that's fine.
I would put after Resident Evil 3.
After Resident Evil 3 for Tomb Raider 1. Now Tomb Raider 2, S tier.
Yeah, but where? That's the...
I think before Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was going to say. Exactly. You got me there. I mean, let me explain. Tomb Raider, you know, pioneer platform, period. Really, really frustrating. Yeah, I know. You said about playing now. I played back in the day. I live and breathe Tomb Raider. I live the hype. I played. But, oh man, how a game can be so frustrating. Especially me. I was like 9 years, 10 years old, 9 years old, maybe 8 years old. Man, that was really frustrating to me. Really, I was completely lost. I mean, I've done everything. I've go everywhere. I don't know where to go. Right? This has really got me frustrated, man. So that's what I was going to say. So let's just talk about Tomb Raider as a platformer, right? Where do you have more fun? Spyro, Crash, or Tomb Raider?
I have more fun with
funness aspect.
I have more fun with Tomb Raider 2 than I do with Crash 1. But I find Crash 1 to be an incredibly frustrating experience.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, Tomb Raider 2 deserves really top S, not straight top, but you know, top 5, top 10 maybe, right? But it's so frustrating that, you know, as a platformers, right? So I enjoyed I can say that I enjoy play. I would prefer if I would choose a platformer, I would choose Spyro, Crash any day than Tomb Raider because it's really frustrating. So I agree with you completely on Tomb Raider 2 higher than Crash. 1.
Same.
So, are we happy with between Final Fantasy VIII and Crash?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Tenchu. Tenchu was not higher because technical, and Tomb Raider 2 due with the frustration stuff for me.
Okay. The final three.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah.
Now,
The highest score, maybe, overall.
I'm not going to say until the end. We may have passed it, we may not.
I think it's a 98. I'm just
So,
guessing 98 there. Yeah. Oh my. Where to put,
So
right?
I think this is an easy S.
Of course, no debate.
I think this is the best of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. There's been a lot, and I know a lot of people like
Yes.
3. A lot of people like Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2. But for me, the pure Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is the pure Tony Hawk's experience.
Yeah.
It lost something for me a little bit with the open world aspect of Tony Hawk's Underground series. 3 and 4 were fine. 3 I enjoyed. I think weirdly the thing that separates 2 and 3 for me is the soundtrack. The music in 2 is so much better for me than the music in 3 and even 1. Everyone, you think of the music in Tony Hawk's games and everyone immediately goes to Superman by Goldfinger, and it's iconic.
Yeah.
It's iconic, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 it helped along with Crazy Taxi, and I mentioned this when we were doing the Crazy Taxi challenge. There are 2 games.
But Superman is from the Tony Hawk's 1, right?
Yes, it is.
First.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but Tony Hawk's 2 has more Bad Religion, which is always good. It has You by Bad Religion, which they're also on the Crazy Taxi soundtrack. It has No Cigar by Millen Collin. It has May 16th by Lagwagon.
Best one.
It has
Best one for me, yeah.
Guerrilla Radio, Rage Against the Machine, Blood Brothers, Papa Roach. That game and Crazy Taxi really helped shape my music taste as a teenager.
Nice.
And I will still find myself, if I hear any of the songs from those games, I'm immediately back in Hangar doing tricks on that half pipe in the first level of Tony Hawk's 2.
Yeah. Sure.
This has real high nostalgia value for me.
For me, I have played. I don't think I've played that one. I've played Underground 1. Was Underground 1 on PS1?
No, the Underground games were 360 and PS3 era.
Right, so I played.
You're lucky we are your friends, man, because you say some things that we could get really a fan angry about.
I do have
You're lucky
that
we are
though, right?
friends, man.
I do have that game, but because I picked it up from somewhere, but it has no disc in it.
So you don't have the game?
No, I literally I found it not so long ago because I've got. I think everybody's heard this story by now, but I've got boxes and boxes to sort through of stuff still in the attic that's been hoarded and stored in like a spare room to still work through, and I am doing it gradually. But it's either like, do I keep it? Do I bin it? Can I make use of that? Can I put it somewhere else so I don't have to bin it? I don't like binning stuff, so that's what I'm constantly doing. And I come across the Tony Hawk's game right there, and I was like, oh wow, okay, another PS1 game, brilliant. Opened it up, manuals there, inserts there, no disc. So I don't know whether it never had a disc to begin with when I got it, or somehow I've misplaced the disc. But I have played on the Xbox 360. I'm sure I have.
I think it's you and me, Chris. Then
Yep.
to the side.
And I do know the music from it. And I know it is iconic.
Yeah, I lived and breathed Tony Hawk's 100%. Played that until I make scratch, until PlayStation makes scratch on it. The laser, no, the laser really burned the disc. I played that. I really can't count how much I play this. Really, No Cigar and Blood Brothers were always on the repeat track for me.
Yeah,
My
same here.
two favorite games, tracks.
I have both of the albums that those tracks are from.
Yeah,
As
they are
off of the back of this game.
Yeah, and they are like immediately, just like All I Want for Crazy Taxi and Superman. Immediately, you see Tony Hawk's on your mind. Definitely an improvement overall. I mean, 100% improvement. Everything, especially graphics, right? I played a bit on the PS1, but I played most of it on Dreamcast because by the time Tony Hawk's was released, maybe 1 or 2 years after, I got a Dreamcast. So I sold my PS1. I couldn't play the Tony Hawk's 3 and 4, and I was very sad about it because they were not released on this Dreamcast. And I didn't have the PS1. Tony Hawk's 3, I remember seeing the review on GameSpot, and if you go there, you're gonna have a straight 10 for Tony Hawk's 3, but on PlayStation 2.
Yes.
So I don't consider Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 for PS1. No. For me,
I would
they are
consider those
PS2
games. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And you can see why GameSpot give it a 10. It's the same progress of improvement. Okay, music are more personal stuff, but you really can't say. Yeah, I mean, you can easily say, the musics are more iconic, definitely on 2 and 1 and 2. So that maybe that's not improvement, but it's really hard to improve on the musics. But 2 did, so you really cannot really if especially music, you can't put 2 under 3. Really, 2 got the higher spot because it really improved it at every single detail, right? And I played on the Dreamcast, and especially Tony Hawk's 1, I played on the Dreamcast too, on the Dreamcast 2 as well. You see a real improvement from PS1 versions. I mean, PS1's all squared and stuff, right? And you see the pixels and stuff, and the polygon stuff. But Dreamcast has more like polished, like anti-alias, something related to that. So if you by the time I got lucky, I played on Dreamcast. Graphics, superior graphics. I couldn't just stop playing. It's really amazed. So yeah. Now where to put it?
Well, I know where I would put it.
This is down to you two.
I think you put it top S tier, right?
Oh, it's absolutely S tier. It's absolutely S tier.
I know. I mean, you put before Metal Gear.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
So where do you put it?
I would put it between Final Fantasy VII and Castlevania.
Yeah. I have to agree with that. Sure. Definitely. I would put it personally after Resident Evil 2, but objectively, as you said, yeah, we really need to give in for Final Fantasy there. But I personally would put after Resident Evil 2 easily. Maybe after Metal Gear. I would put after Metal Gear personally.
I don't think I'd put it after Metal Gear.
You really love.
I do really love Resident Evil 2. I could be convinced to put it after Resident Evil 2?
I would be happy. I think, we have to take, a little bit more of, personal feeling here as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I really can't say how much I play this. I play it a lot, man.
I played
Really play
it
a
a
lot.
lot. I played it a lot.
Lots, really, really lot. I got the 2X for the Xbox. I'm not sure if you're gonna accept that on the challenge, right?
I was not, and I hadn't announced the challenge yet, so that's
Oh, sorry.
something that's
Yeah,
I
there's no
forgot
challenge.
about it.
we can discuss
Yeah, but,
at the end.
sorry.
I also have the 2X version. It was never released outside of the US. 2X was on the original Xbox. I don't have an Xbox to play it on, but I still have the Xbox version. I love this game so much that I imported a version that I currently can't play because I haven't soft modded an Xbox yet.
All right. It's really great. It's really fun. I just couldn't stop playing as well. Yeah, I would dare to put Astro Resident Evil 2 easily. Sorry guys. Sorry everyone. Sorry, but I really didn't play Final Fantasy, and I couldn't stop playing Tony Hawk's. I really
All
need
right,
to go personally here.
we've dumped a second line in for STN now. We've got so many there that we've got 2 lines.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, we are judging top games as right for people, right? So
Yeah.
it's inevitable, right? It's
Yeah.
inevitable to secure this.
Yeah. I always knew it was going to be heavy at the top, which is why I wanted to put the rule in of limiting the numbers, which would have made the discussions a whole lot more spicy.
Yeah.
We might have argued a touch more. But I'm happy with this because at the end of the day, the order stays the same, right? And that's that's the important thing. So, final 2 games. We've been going for a little over 2 hours now, so we can get these 2 games out of the way. I've played neither of them. Twisted Metal is the next one up.
Yeah, I'm curious about Twisted Metal score. For just to make sure, don't do injustice.
Have any of us played it?
Yeah, me.
I have, but very little.
Okay.
I have a lot.
You've played it a
Here we
lot.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well
I'm
then.
not sure this was my top now. I really can't remember, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, you didn't vote for it, no?
Now I'm not sure. Probably not, but maybe. Not sure.
So, if you're the only one that's played it, really, put any time into it, what do you think?
This, is the usual. The number 2 is improved, right? This is fall under the same. Number 2 was really improved everything. So I think 2 is a higher than 1. So that means 2 would be S and 1 would be A. Not sure if you guys know, but it's the Twisted Metal 1 should have cutscenes, and they were cut. They were later released on the PSP Twisted Metal. I forgot the name now. For the PSP, and you can check this cutscenes. It's really hilarious, but it's really great as well. It's really technical limitation as well. just one of the more those games, maybe were experimenting, and then improve a lot on the second one. I would put very high on A.
Very
No,
high.
I'll not have not very high. No, not very high. I would put. Yeah, if I put, before Time Crisis, I think I'm gonna start an argument here. So, if you guys are okay, I will put after Time Crisis.
From what I've seen on it, I'm happy with that. I haven't really played it that much.
I haven't played it, so I can't really comment. I have seen the game rankings go, but I'm going to place it there first so that we can't. Did you say before Time Crisis or after Time Crisis?
Yeah, that's it.
After Time Crisis, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where it is, and that's where it lives, and that is where it shall stay.
No,
that is where it shall stay until we decide if Vagrant Story is an A tier game and is higher. But just for reference, the game ranking score for Twisted Metal is 66%.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, from what I can tell, everything I've read up about it just in the last minute or two is exactly what we've already said. It was an interesting concept, a new idea that was massively improved upon in the sequel.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, such is the way, it's kind of what we expect from PS1 games, right? It's early 3D gaming. People are still finding their feet.
Yeah.
I would argue that people didn't really find their feet with 3D gaming until late in the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube era. It took a while for everything to settle and people to decide what.
I mean, end of PS1 cycle, right? The end of PS1 cycle, you got really epic games.
You did.
I mean, technical side.
Technical side, but some of the ways that they played are still a little bit clunky compared to modern games. Like,
sure.
And that was just getting to grips with 3D games, but that's fine.
Most of them, you didn't have an analog.
No, that is true.
There was no design with no analog sticks. Yeah.
Yeah. That is true. Okay. We are on to the last game. Game 43 of 43. Vagrant Story.
Didn't play.
No, didn't play.
No.
So
I only know that it's really, really considered one of the most best games on PS1 technical sides.
Yeah. It is.
I need some credit then.
It is supposed to be excellent.
Yeah.
I never got around to playing it. Released in 2000, so it's a late PS1 era game. It's by Squaresoft. Now, of course, Square Enix of Final Fantasy and the Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross games fame. It has a high pedigree.
Yeah. Really cult following there as well.
So, we don't know, but we none of us have played it. We can't really comment on it as a game personally from our own experiences, so we have to go with the Metacritic score, which is 92.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Which puts it
I knew that.
Straight into S tier.
That's pretty high.
It's really, there's no other place for me than the bottom S.
See, I was going to be controversial and say, and even though I've not played it, this has a better reputation than Final Fantasy VIII does, from what I've heard. So,
I'm going to have a look at that.
I mean, we didn't play.
No, right, we didn't play it, so you're right. We can't compare it to other games. You're absolutely right. It has to go bottom tier S.
I would go for bottom S. I respect it has a higher score, but that we have to give it in for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
it has a 9.3. It's S.
You're exactly right. It has to
If
go.
we had the person here who input this, we could discuss more, and I would respect. I mean, probably, if you don't touch there on Tekken and the ones above, I would be completely fine.
Yeah, I agree. If I don't know who nominated this game, if whoever did is listening back at some point and would like to tell us all about Vagrant Story and why it should be higher, if you think it's fair, let us know. We're not going to move it because this is the final list now. And this is it. It is decided. We are going to carve this into stone, assuming we've got the budget to get a stonemason to carve this into a large slab of rock.
Might take a bit of time.
Yeah. We'll set up a Patreon for it or something like that. That's a joke, by the way. We're not going to... But yes, there we have it. All 43 games rated. The official.
Not easy, right?
Not easy.
What? No.
But it ended the way I expected it would.
Yeah.
Great. I'm happy.
I thought I like I said last week. I think I said last week. Metal Gear Solid had 7 nominations, which is more than any other game. So I think we have a good list. I am happy with it. I will admit, one of the reasons I'm happy with it is 4 of the top 5 games were my nominations. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
I think we have done well. I think we really have done well to, debate all these. I mean, we had obviously more to attend the first one than this one. It is just us 3, but I think with the games we had left and the fact that quite a few of us hadn't actually played them, I think they have been given a reasonably appropriate slot, haven't they?
They have, yes. They have. And just to go back to what I was saying earlier about the game that scored 98 and how I was going to reveal it at the end, you were right. It is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, I think I checked that not long. I think when I was playing 2X probably.
That is the highest rated PlayStation 1 game, on Metacritic.
Yeah.
I think the next ones are like Tekken 3 and Gran Turismo at 96.
Well,
We really hate Gran Turismo, right?
I mean, it's not our fault. It's a soulless simulation game. But that is also a joke. I'm not. I need to clarify. That's a joke. All you Gran Turismo fans out there, please do not come and hunt me down. I'm kidding.
I mean, we got the Gran Turismo 2 right there. So
yes, we did.
We have that, right? And I vouch for that. Let's not go down this path. Not having a Gran Turismo NES is really an affront for PS1, fans. Let's not do it.
Yeah, I agree there. Even for a soulless simulation game.
Yeah. I'm happy that seeing, Resident Evil 2 as a second and S, and Resident Evil 1 and 3 as a first and third place and A. Really, if you talk about franchises here, Resident Evil is the top franchise, right?
Well, technically Final Fantasy and Crash. All of the Crash games are in S tier.
Oh, yeah.
All of the nominated Final Fantasy games are in S tier.
I'm not sorry. We say podcast guy. We have that user, the member, our friend there, the podcast. I forgot his name.
Oh,
He
yeah. I know the guy you mean. Yeah, he joined us recently. Living the. He's into the PSP, is it, or the Vita? Something like that. Who are
yeah
you referring to?
he was talking about the podcast discussion. Fast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, the fast. You know,
Right. No, sorry.
he
Okay.
mentioned, yeah, he mentioned Final Fantasy 9,
Yes.
and I
So,
didn't play that, and I know it's a really loved game by
so
fans.
yeah. So I was surprised that Final Fantasy IX did not get a nomination.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I personally rate Final Fantasy IX higher than 8, but not as high as 7. So yeah, it was a surprise that that one didn't get a nomination.
Mm. No, I thought you were referring to somebody else off another group actually. Um, so I mean, we have done really well, and just what was there anything else anybody wanted to say on the PS1 podcast? Because I do have a few things I just want to say on obviously November, and I don't know whether we can count this as officially, releasing stuff.
I just spoiled. I'm sorry for that. I
Yeah.
think
nothing
I spoiled twice.
nothing really on the PS1 podcasts. There's a few games that just to say there's a few games in here that I've not played that I really now I'm quite interested in going to have a look at.
Yeah. Same.
Vagrant Story, the Parappa the Rapper. I might go back to Tenchu. There's a lot that I want to go back and have a look at now. So I've got some
Same.
homework to do.
Need to get a PS1.
Yeah, I don't have as much homework to do as you do. How many of the top 20 have you played? The S tier games have you played? Maybe 2 or 3?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. More than that. Hang on, I need to count them.
No,
1, 2,
don't worry. It's
3,
not gonna use more than
4,
one hand.
4.
No
5,
problem.
6,
Oh, onto the second hand.
8,
Oh, I'm surprised.
8, 8. Yeah,
8, so less than half.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
not
definitely.
good, not great.
I'm gonna have to pick up a PS1 clearly pretty
Not bad,
soon.
not great.
Yeah.
No, I will definitely pick one up soon. I've just been too focused on Commodore at the moment. That's all I've been delving into is like trying to get that Amiga sorted and get the A500 Mini sorted. They're done now. They're done. I need to get a couple of things for the 600, but I'll just get them over time. So it is. I am looking at other stuff. That's what I'm doing on eBay currently. So I mustn't forget about the PS1. It's cheap enough to pick up a decent one and just start throwing the odd game in, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely worth doing. Definitely worth doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Games to look at as well. So all I wanted to say about next month is obviously where we've got people's attention on the YouTube, etc. Is it is going to be Commodore 64 focused. Okay, so I'll leave this to you, Chris. But there is going to be another challenge running alongside the Commodore month for other people to get involved in if you're not really into the C64. But I will say, obviously, the C64 is such an emulated system, right? If you don't own a C64 or you don't have a new modern replica of one, you can still get involved. I'm going to be putting lots of details, etc., in a post of where you can emulate them and where you can, replicate things from. So we would like, anybody and everybody to get involved. Going to have a good choice of games coming out that show the system off well, and it is, a legendary system in its day and still is now. So hope everyone gets involved in that. And obviously, there will be something following on from that for December as well, which we're going to keep under our hats for now.
awesome. Sounds good. I definitely need to get on board with the C64 because it's not something I have a huge amount of experience with or any experience with at all. So I'm going to try
Yeah, me too.
and get on with that. See if I can find a way to play some of those games and get on with the challenges. Speaking of, and you touched on it there, and someone who shall remain nameless has spoiled it for everyone already.
Sorry.
It's okay. If C64 is not your cup of tea, that is totally fine. for the first 2 weeks of November, starting November 1st, we will be running a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 challenge. Details will be on the Discord, but the long and short of it is a high score challenge for Hanger, who can get the highest score playing as Tony Hawk. Default stats, no upgrades, no nothing. 2 minutes, free play, Hanger, get the highest score that you can. I will be putting details of that on the Discord this weekend, prior to the kicking off on the 1st of November, and I need to see if I can sweet talk Retro Zapper to see if I can get some of his sweet promotional artwork made for the Instagram, so we can promote it there as well.
Well, that's another thing as well. I just thought, obviously, we can't forget about it, Halloween. So what my plan is there is just for anybody and everybody who wants to get involved on the Halloween gaming chat channel on Discord and post what you're playing on the 30th and 31st. Anything scary, doesn't have to be Halloween specifically. Anything scary or a bit dark. And what we'll do is, before the night is out on the 31st of October, we'll collate these into a reel. I've already got some from Instagram, from what people have posted. We're going to collate these into a reasonably quick flashing through reel of all what the members are playing, etc. And I will certainly be playing a few, possibly on Amiga, and I want to continue Undead Nightmare as well.
Awesome.
Great.
Sounds good. Does anyone else have anything they would like to bring up before we lower the curtain and bring this show to a close?
I would like to thank you all, especially Chris, Dan here, to taking this ownership. It was a great idea. Great way of conducting, leading the podcast. It really got attention there, especially on the first part, right? We got a lot of people there. I don't remember seeing so much people on the podcast. So definitely a success. We thank you for that. I think everyone's looking forward for the next one to participate. Especially people who didn't enter on the PS1 now. They're probably gonna expect they're really expecting the next one to join. So you already said you have this objective and you have this intention, right, to do some more of this in the near future. So we are pleased for that. We can't wait. If we look forward for that. So really, thank you very much for this and congratulations. It was really nice. I really like to talk. Everyone here, I love, the honesty, feeling the honesty of everyone here. So we make a conclusion about it. We make a solution for everyone. So we try to make everyone happy. That's what I'm trying to say as well. Not only be honest, So it's really great. It's really a good thing to have in a community, having everyone activity that everyone can participate, interact, and you don't really need to participate on the podcast to interact. So just really an activity that just makes everyone very easily to approach and participate and very quickly, right? So thank you very much for that, and I hope we can see more of that in the future.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Need to add to that. It was an amazing little series we've done here. So thank you very much for that, Chris. We got quite a few views on YouTube. I think it's I think it is definitely our most viewed podcast. There's only 2 on there at the minute, but definitely a lot of views, and it has done really well. So it's definitely something we need to revisit for other systems.
Oh, that's great. Great to hear that it's doing well. I do have plans for follow-ups, other systems. If anyone wants to follow the same format for a system that I am not overly familiar with, that is absolutely fine. If you want to run it yourself and organize everything yourself, that is also fine. Or if you like the way I've done things, then I'm more than happy to run it as well. Even if I don't have a huge amount of experience with any of the consoles or games that are being discussed, more than happy to just host the discussion. But for the next one, I will leave that unannounced for now because I don't know when we're going to do it. I'm probably going to wait until after C64 month is out of the way. So probably won't be until some point in December at the earliest, where I start asking for nominations, which would then mean discussions in the new year.
Sure.
But I have plans to do more. This is not the last of these.
Fantastic. Can't wait. And I'm not going to say too much of which ones I'm going to look forward to, but I'd certainly like to bring a few to the table.
That's
And I know there's some that we definitely have to just go through anyway,
Yeah.
because they're legendary.
Yeah. Any suggestions are more than welcome, and we can look into sorting them out.
And yeah, I think I know the next one, but I will avoid spoiling more things because I really need to pay more attention to that. But I think I know the next one, and I'm very looking forward to it. Yeah,
Good. I'm glad.
that's it.
Like I say, I'll start planning and then announce probably after the C64 stuff in finishes. So
I'm curious what it is now. I'm thinking, have I missed something in the chat, or because obviously instantly I think Commodore and Amiga, but that's something I'll bring to the table later as regards this idea. So it can't be that. So it's got to be something else.
yeah,
If we
sorry, go on.
Yeah, I would say we can do it, but I'm not sure Chris then would lead it, right? I believe I mentioned this earlier on Discord. We can do this, but maybe not Chris then leading it, right? And also, I think Chris just gave us the template here, right? We could not only just him do it. I think everyone can
absolutely
do it as well if you want, right?
Absolutely. I'm not claiming ownership of the format at all. So
thank you for that.
If anyone wants to run one themselves, like I say, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I need to get my head around the Google form format because I need that for the quiz by the looks of it, isn't it? For Commodore month, it's going to be the easiest format for the C64 and the other quizzes that we do after that in other months. So definitely.
Maybe get the guys there, the Commodore and maybe Amiga guys there and do some stuff for the next month, right?
I've already got the quiz sorted. I've got quizzes covered for the next 2 months. Let me just say that because we don't want to reveal too much what's coming in December. Don't forget that. I think people have probably guessed, but I'm certainly not going to be the one to announce it just yet. C64 month, the quiz is sorted. The system-focused month in December, I have a quiz for that. That's sorted. Obviously, I briefly did touch on this, but there's going to be challenges. I want a lot of content going out there. Certainly, I'm going to contribute for that. Obviously, as most people know, I've got original hardware for both now. So, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into it.
Yeah. And the cheer tip list, right? So maybe the guys there, I mean, for the Commodore month, right? We could
have quite a
discuss
few members
someone
on board that are Commodore related in some shape or form. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
maybe we can consider if anyone wants to lead that. It would be interesting.
I'm happy for any content to be put. I mean, don't forget. I mean, I was even thinking, should we do a separate sort of C64 month channel? But we've got the C64 section there that can be fully utilized. The podcast can go in the podcast section. The quiz can go in the quiz section. Do you know what I mean? So we've already kind of got it there. It just needs to be utilized.
Yeah, sure.
And as I say, I've obviously done a big post about emulation. I don't think I've put it out there just yet, but I've got that ready to go as to the best places to go to actually replicate the C64 if you don't have one in some shape or form. So we'll get that sorted out. But yeah, apart from that, I think it's been a great success, and thank you very much, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. And to close things out, I would like to thank both of you for being here for both of the discussions. So I think we've spent about 5 hours now in total talking about these games. 4.5, 5 hours. It's been long. I want to thank everyone who participated in last week's call. So Adam Player One, AMD 007, High Scorsese, Liam, Retro Throwback. And is there anyone I've missed?
No, I don't think so.
Adam,
No.
Sky Scorsese, EMD,
Yeah,
right?
EMD.
Liam,
Yes.
Retro Throwback.
Yes, Retro Throwback.
No, yeah.
I apologise if there is anyone I've missed from who joined us last week. It's been a long week for me, and I've forgotten, so I'm sorry.
Same. Same.
And I would also like to thank everyone who submitted game nominations. You know who you are. I don't, unfortunately. The form was anonymous, so I can't thank you personally. And everyone who has expressed an interest in the chat, on the Discord and in the Instagram chat. There's been a lot of excitement about this. I've been really happy to see just how well it's resonated with the community. So
definitely. And I know there are people literally, waiting for this video to go out on YouTube.
They are.
And that leads me to another final point is I did just have a quick check. So basically this video has got our community total views as such, and then virtually double that again. So to anybody out there that's listening that isn't a member of Retroslice Gaming, we're a mainly focused Discord community that love retro of any shape or form. You're more than welcome to apply to join us and get to participate in our challenges and podcasts. And we also have an Instagram presence as well under the same name, and YouTube.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say something very, very similar. So that is fine. And with that then, I think we are done.
Yeah, fantastic. So what we'll do is we need to edit this now, don't we? Just get the editing properly sorted out. So I'll send it to Google. I'll put a message on Discord, and we can hopefully get this out there on YouTube at some point tomorrow afternoon. Cool. We did the last one.
Awesome. Well, I'll upload it immediately once it's finished processing here. But for now, thank you for joining me for the discussion, and thank you to everyone who is going to listen at home after the fact. If you have any feedback, please let us know. Comments.
No problems, buddy, at all. No problems, buddy. As a last point, do you want to shout out your discussion for tomorrow?
It might be a little short notice because I don't know when this will go up, but you mean my stream?
Yes.
Yes. So tomorrow evening on my personal Twitch channel, twitch.tv/retrogameden, I am going to have a crack at upgrading a Game Boy Advance console. It's something I've been wanting to do for a little while. It seems fairly straightforward. So that will be on Twitch at 8 p.m. UK time tomorrow, Sunday, October 29th. If you are unable to catch that, the stream live, it will be posted on my YouTube channel, Retro Game Den, again, at some point shortly after. I
shall be there live.
If you fancy checking it out, that would be great. It could end up being a disaster. It could end up going really well. We shall see.
So if the grid goes down about 8:05 when I'm watching you, and all of a sudden hear a spark.
Yeah, well, it's a no solder modification.
Oh, good.
So that's why I went for it. Soldering is entirely optional, and I haven't soldered anything since GCSE electronics when I was 16.
Which soldered one thing in my life, and that's because I really needed to, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it, and it worked. It's fine. It's still working, but if somebody inspected it, they'd be like, "What did you do here?"
Yeah. If I get brave, I might practice some soldering at a later time and do some other mods. But this one should be fairly straightforward.
Just hope you don't have any shaky hands. But just need.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about it. There we go. That was brilliant. Again, thank you to everybody that took part, and we'll get working on some other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thank you all for listening and joining in. Until next time, goodbye.
See ya.
Yeah.
See you later, people. Bye.